day, they're still going to just put it out, and then Monday come around and say, well, they never picked up my garbage trash.
Yeah, there's really no proof that I called in or I didn't call in.
That's the point. Because if they decide they're going to put it out at the last minute and they don't pick it up, then Kim's going to hear about it.
Definitely. But, you know, I mean, we call or we email them and just say, hey, you didn't pick it up, and they have to come back and do it at that point, so.
When does your contract with them run out?
We just redid it, so we got 2 more years after this one.
Eventually, I think it might be about the price. See what I'm saying? They say, hey, we're going to have to do it this way in the future. It's going to cost X. So.
And I'm assuming probably that too. I'm sure it's also, you know, of course that's going to probably happen anyways. Those prices always go up when you renew your contracts anyways. And of course, if gas prices and stuff stay the way they are, of course it's going to take a big jump. So.
Does your contract have early exit clause that's either side terminate it before the end?
I'm sure it does.
I bet it does too.
Yeah.
So they got mad enough. They exercise.
Really, truly, they've been amazing. I mean, compared to what we had, they've been great. And like I said, they're fabulous to work with. So it's just, they had reached out and asked, and I said I would ask the council on their direction. And but at the end of the day, you know, our contract states that they will do it the way it currently is, and it is, then it will be what it is.
I think it's fine the way it is.
I think you're right. Catch-22, because I think even if you did ask them to do it, they just say, people wouldn't follow it.
No, they're not going to.
So, unless you just eliminate it down the road and just say, we have one day, have them come in and bring a dumpster and take that one location to that dumpster.
But you do know what? A nightmare.
Yeah,
that has been in the past.
That would be
So that'd
Yeah.
be up to them to control.
Yeah, but we'd be the one with the mess around it though.
Yeah.
I just think with today's day and age, the people that are trying to run it now may not be the same people in 2 months. So, and I think it's just another burden to the public that we're already paying for. Expect them to do an extra step. I mean, at one time we got recycle pickup every week. That got taken away in the middle of the contract. So
So what are you saying?
I think it should just stay the way it is.
I agree with that.
Unless they can come up with a more efficient way of doing it. There's really no record that says that I called in and want my trash picked up, and then they don't get it picked up and say, well, you never called.
Correct. We need a motion on that.
No, it was
Okay.
just, it was more or less a discussion we had last month, and like I said, I just did a little more research.
Took no action.
Yeah.
B is the retired police squad car. We tabled it last fall, just because it was the end of the year, and I didn't really think that was a good opportunity to try and sell a car. What do we want to do with it? We're gonna have to do something. It's not being utilized.
Personally, I think.
I did reach out to another municipality that was kind of looking for one, because one of the reserves officers right there, they never got back with me. I tried calling the clerk in the Tom Marshall. I didn't get an answer either.
La Paz was looking for one, weren't they, Bill?
They were, I think they've got some worked out pretty,
Okay.
so, wouldn't hurt if I was asked, but,
I think put it out there for sale.
How do
It's
you
not
want
doing anything.
to do it?
We put it up for sealed bids like we've done in the past.
The minimum?
And you're gonna have to have a minimum.
Sure.
amount.
What kind of trade-in values have they offered on the latest ones we've done over the last couple of years?
Well, you had a trade-in value turned in on that, so that's what we need to go by.
That's what I mean. I don't remember what it was. 10,000 or?
I think that's why we tabled it.
I'm kidding.
I was gonna say,
5, you said?
So I think, 55, 56, somewhere in there.
So what if we put a minimum bid of 5 on it?
I think we just minimum bid at whatever trade-in value was at the time as the minimum bid.
Oh, well, that's what I mean. You said it was about 5.
And whatever that was. What do you think?
I'm okay with it, unless you guys have any other thought process.
I mean, it would have been a good backup car, but we got a brand new engine in one of them now, so.
The rest of the fleet's all good, right?
The car with the new engine's running great.
I make a motion that we put it up for sale, sealed bid, minimum of $5,000.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
do you guys want that so that it is for the next council meeting to open them?
Yeah.
I think so.
Sealed bid.
Yeah, I think so.
I will take care of that.
Thank you.
New business, Matthew. Here?
Do you mind if I address from right here?
That's fine. You were with who?
The Coalition Against Bigger Trucks. And I'm looking at maybe 3 minutes. I don't want to take up too much of your time. So yeah, I'm with Coalition Against Bigger Trucks. So we are a group of just about 5,000 local officials and members of law enforcement across the country with a simple advocacy. We are opposed to legislation at the federal level that would raise semi-truck weights. Not against big trucks. Everything we do relies on big trucks, and that's why we've worked with a vast majority of the trucking industry. But it's proposals to make them bigger that we take issue with. The key being a nationwide increase from 80,000 to 91,000 pounds. Our coalition is composed of a lot of groups from Indiana. So in opposition to heavier trucks, you have the chiefs of police, the sheriffs, and the troopers in Indiana and at the national level. Then the county highway engineers and the counties as well. Then we work with, like I mentioned, the trucking industry. I've never met a driver that said they would benefit from this. It makes the job harder, it makes the job less profitable. And then we work with the rail industry because of the diversion of freight. And then, so you work with all those groups. What we look at is a USDOT study came out in 2015. The recommendation was do not increase truck weight. Came down to road damage, bridge damage, and crash rates, higher out of service violations. It's more force involved, and the crashes are more violent. I certainly understand the desire for heavier trucks, and I hope one day we live in a world where our roads and bridges are capable of handling those heavier weights. And if we can figure out the safety stuff, I wouldn't be here because there wouldn't be a debate to be had. That day's not today, and I don't think it's coming anytime soon. Our advocacy is maintain the weights of today. We're not looking to regulate or lower weights or anything like that, just prevent them from going up. The highway bill is being debated potentially in the coming weeks. It's kind of unclear, but it's due this year, and this will come up at the congressional level as a part of that. So Congressman Yakum is on the Transportation Infrastructure Committee. We've met with his office with the president of the Indiana Chiefs, and it seems like he's undecided on the issue. He's asked for more information, for data, to hear from constituents. So I'm here spending the week meeting with local officials, members of law enforcement, to encourage letters to members of Congress So I know you wouldn't be able to act today on it. When I speak to towns and councils, a lot of times individuals will write on their own behalf to the member of Congress saying, hey, this is my experience, this is what we've dealt with, and this is why heavier trucks would be good for our community. Other times the town decides to act as a whole through a resolution or a letter, and it is extremely effective. We've been successful for 30 years at keeping truck weights as they are because of whether it's giant cities, small towns, sheriffs, chiefs, members of Congress tend to listen. Not all of them, but most of them, they listen. It has an impact, and I think local governments have a lot to lose. These trucks, of course, don't stay in the interstate system. They rely on local roads, and it just increases infrastructure costs. So I've got folders I can leave. I can take questions now if it's appropriate, or I'll send a follow-up email if anyone's interested, or if you'd like a resolution, you can let me know.
I don't have any questions.
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Here, I'll leave one folder. I'll
I'll take one.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you for having me.
Kimberger,
I have approval of claims 8348 to 8462, $437,546.53.
I'll make a motion to approve claims 8348 to 8462 for $437,000. $437,546.53.
I second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, I'm asking for an approval of a quote to replace the platform and steps at McBride Field. However, and it is in the amount of $5,820. However, not happy with the construction part of that, so I guess I'm asking for approval pending the Marshall County Building Inspector checking that out and asking for certain things to be changed.
Per our request.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to pass that under those conditions.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Well, I'd like to add something to that.
Go ahead.
I mean, if we're gonna have this change, should there be a procedure, I guess, head into this to make sure that this gets changed the appropriate way?
That's the reason why the Marshall County Inspector's doing it, so it's to code, per their guidelines, whatever those may be, and per our requests. And if we pass it, ultimately she's gotta cut the check for it, so.
I'm confused. So is this a quote for services that you've already started? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an inadequate job.
Yeah.
So you haven't entered into any kind of agreement though already, or you did, and is this more like a change order kind of situation?
Kind of, more like a change order type situation.
What was done is relatively a safety issue. Having the new part done is still a safety issue based on the construction. Am I saying that right?
A motion?
You made a motion.
Yeah, he seconded it.
Well, and just so we're clear, that's a motion to approve the quote,
Approve the quote under,
subject to the Marshall County building inspector's inspection.
and our approval, Kim's approval
Okay.
of quality.
Of fixing the inadequate stuff.
I don't know how you word that.
Yeah, I know.
It's a long, it goes on and on and on.
So you're reserving some kind of final approval before she makes a payment?
Yes.
Okay.
And I seconded Les or
Right.
I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement.
All in favor?
I.
Aye. Opposed?
I have a request from Chastity Dillon. She wasn't able to be here this evening. She would like to have the farmer's market at the Park Pavilion again in 2026. It would be on Monday nights, the month of June through September. And of course, they're asking to waive that fee.
I think that's a great thing.
I agree with that, and the only thing that, I know there was some concerns on cleanup. Will we go through those guidelines with them before we, please?
Yes.
What was the start date? You said it was through September?
The first Monday of June through the last Monday of September.
Yeah, was an excellent success last year.
I hate it, it's not downtown where it's really visible.
I know
but
that it's not
it makes
visible, but
sense.
it's safer.
It makes sense for inclement weather.
It's safer. I think it brought more people to it. There's better parking. So,
Yeah, I won't argue that. It would be neat if it was downtown again.
so did one of you make a motion?
I'll make a motion for that.
I'll second that.
I did too. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, so my last thing is, and we've discussed this several times. So the Marshall County Economic Development Corporation continues to send a bill. In the past, where we have given them $10,000 a year. Last year when we discussed this, you guys did vote to pay the first quarter, which was $2,500, and then we felt that, or I guess you guys felt, not we, but you guys felt that we didn't get any other guidance the rest of the year. So at the beginning of the year, of course, I got the request for the $10,000, and Mr. Hildebrand was here at that January meeting, but never requested compensation from the town. Now they're billing me for the $7,500 also that we didn't pay last year. So I'm asking whether or not you guys are going to sponsor them, and if not, either maybe Tony can write a letter, or I'll be more than glad to write them a letter and tell them that we are not going to be funding that.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. We agreed to the January 2025, but I thought we had a discussion in October, November of 2024 with him in that discussion that we would drop it into quarters as long as there was quarterly reports and discussions happen. That happened, I don't know how many times, but in January, we approved the second quarter, which at that time I agreed to, but I didn't feel like that was where we were at. And we went through the rest of the year, which we didn't pay out the other $7,500. If I remember correctly, in our 2025, 2026 budget, we changed that line item from Marshall County Economic Development to housing so that we could help support possible growth within the community. So I don't know that we've even budgeted for that for this year.
And that is right. The discussion that we had during our budget work session was that we were going to put that money towards
Housing.
hopefully housing.
The growth of the community.
And not fund that.
and not fund that because we did not feel that we have gotten the assistance from them in the past. And been working on some of that housing things on our own.
Correct. Which, they're more of the business side of it, but, we have to make a decision somewhere. This hasn't been working in years past. We have started to make steps towards that direction of housing, and I think that's the reason why we put that in the budget for 2026. Took that and put that in that housing budget. And I think we just titled it housing. So that's, if I'm correct, that's how that process flowed into where we are today.
Have you done a written agreement with them at any point? That's something they used to do in the past.
Not for years.
So you remember it too, though.
Oh, I'm sure I have copies of some of the old ones, yeah. But we haven't had a written agreement with them probably since Jerry Chavez was the director.
My opinion, if we withdraw and not pay this, I think that our town attorney should write a letter response to this.
I would agree with that. Do you have any thoughts on it, Tony, beyond what we?
Well, I wanted to, if I could, Kim, if you could find the last agreement that you think you have, I want to make sure it's not something that's considered to be rolling over ever since then. I mean, it sounds like it would be pretty old at this point. But I think I could send them something basically saying,
Thank you, but no thanks.
yeah, exactly. So.
And I'm sure we were recording at that time somewhere. It states with that conversation that we were going to break it into quarters.
I remember we had voted to do that, to see where it went.
Even when we were funding that for the whole year, we always paid that quarterly anyways. But
I think
We were trying to get,
most of us did.
but we were trying to come to a better agreement of what was expected at that time.
Right, when you get through one. So, do you, if you could remember, maybe send the minutes of that meeting, and if it had some of the things that you were told were going to be done, and you can say, hey, this hasn't happened.
I want to say that was fall of 24.
it was either, it had to be late in the fall of 24 or the January 2025. It had to be right in there somewhere. So I will look for that and send it to you. That is all I have.
Okay.
I'm going to say William Martin activity report, but I think somebody else is in charge tonight.
Sorry.
Yes, sir. You have our report.
Correct.
In that report, you also have a resignation letter from our full-time officer, County Trader. His last day was effective April 9th this year. Also in there is a letter from a subject that was pulled over by Officer Harry. It's kind of a combination letter stating you're very professional in the whole traffic stop. And I appreciated what we did. She also mentioned Chief Martin helped her in the past as well, which appreciated that. If you have any questions about the activity report?
If not, do we need to accept the resignation? We got to make a motion on it.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, the last sheet that I gave you was also our Chief Martin went down to Leo, was able to get 22 of these rifle plates, a point blank parakeet standalone plates. New, there have been $1,375 a piece. Found 22, that's $30,250.
Nice.
These still have 5 years left on their warranty, so they're good for 5 more years. And we have 22 of them, and Chief Martin didn't pay anything for them.
Awesome. Thank you. Good job.
And the last thing I have, I'm requesting to open the hiring process to fill our open full-time position. Police department.
I'll make a motion that you go forward with that, Carl.
I'll second that, but I wanna discuss something else also.
Sure.
Les, do you have anything before? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. It was, and it makes sense, it was brought up, you know, in this situation, we knew Officer Prater was leaving a couple weeks ago, if not 3-4 weeks ago. And just so the police department's aware, are we okay with them opening that process up and just not doing any hiring? They can't hire anybody until we approve it, obviously. And to get ahead of the system a little bit instead of waiting until the last minute. They could, well, if they advertise for it, why would they need our approval to advertise if they do and they could have somebody maybe closer to ready to go sooner than wait until the next board meeting? It doesn't mean they gotta hire them.
I think I would tell you this would be something where I would, like you're gonna post, let them go through the application process, make a recommendation, and then we'll call it just a special meeting to hire.
To do that at that point in the future.
I would.
Yeah, because we just pulled these guys back 3 weeks, unfortunately. So
Are you advertising? Or
We
you
are going to,
go
we
to-
did have one reserve officer put a letter of intent in.
and that was open to all of our part-time paid ones and reserve officers, all of them?
Yes.
Okay, so do you want to advertise in the paper?
Please.
You'll just need to tell me how long you want to accept applications for, and go from there.
I'll get with you tomorrow.
As opposed to hiring the 10.
Yeah, we only had the one put in, so we always go
Okay,
to
gotcha. Yeah.
I did have one more thing. We are asking approval to hire a part-time officer, Devin Johnson. He was a county officer, now he works for Artis, and he requested to be put on part-time on our list.
I'll make a motion to approve him part-time.
Second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So yeah, just keep that, hopefully we never go through this again. It's life, but just keep that in mind. If you want a special meeting, let's do that so we can.
Special meeting before we do it.
Yeah, because we know, we knew it, we knew the situation, that way you can start this process sooner, we're not that much further behind at that point, so.
Thank you.
Roger Terry,
Yeah, the activity reports. Also, you have a quote for the approach at the new addition to the building down there. There are 2 quotes there. One's from Steel Ridge and one's from Bobby Hensley. One's 7,000, the other one's 6,900.
And this was not included in
This was not included in the original build of the new addition down there. It was overlooked at that point in time. Steel Ridge still owes us a 2-foot sidewalk on the north side of the building yet too, so. But
If you do look at them though, Hensley's is for 8-inch thickness and Silveridge's is only 6.
6-inch, and Bobby Hensley's has rain guard in the mix too, so which means it's like sealed, it's paper.
or is this gonna, if it's passed, or is this money gonna come from?
Come out of the storm sewer.
And we have funds there for that.
In that count, yes.
I would much prefer to have the 8-inch thick as opposed to the 6-inch.
How much is it higher than the pad that's out there now?
From where it has to go to, I think it's about 6 or 8 inches difference.
So they're gonna lay on top, or they tear
No,
it
they're
back?
tearing out, we're gonna tear out to the storm drain and go all the way across from the original west building door all the way to the edge of the new part.
What's the slope? So tear out, which I don't see on this. quotes.
Hensley says remove all
Yeah.
contract,
Yeah, Hensley's does say remove,
old contact.
yes.
Grade fill
Concrete.
level, yeah.
And what it would do would match what's originally there from the west building door, and match that slope also all the way across, so it's not such an abrupt in and out as it is right now with the stone there.
So you're gonna go out 26 feet?
Yeah. Pretty close to 20.
What's
Yeah.
the extra 7 foot wide, is that, or is that out?
That's out from the building.
So you're doing 2 approaches?
No, that's supposed to be combined on Hensley's.
So what's the width of the building?
Whatever, 40. Whatever the new addition part is, it's 40 some feet.
47?
Yeah,
So why are you coming out 11 foot on one and 15 foot on the
because
other?
we have a pad that's on the north side over there where the dog, just, southwest of that dog kennel, it's got to be patched in also.
And that kennel stay in there?
Yes. It seems to be out of the way right now.
And Steel Ridge is still gonna get that sidewalk.
Yes, that was in the original
That's
quote.
part of
Yeah.
the original quote.
Yes, that was in the original quote.
I know, I just believe it. I got missed.
I think originally it was supposed to, they were just gonna put limestone there,
Yeah, we
wasn't that
were
what you guys were going
Put
to
the
do?
limestone there, and it seems to be the need for this concrete would be better as far as in and out.
No motion.
I will say the limestone over time is gonna settle, you're gonna chip your edge of your floor.
Yep.
That's.
Yeah.
Or I'd
And I
say
think you're
we
gonna
could
do it
run
right.
with it. Huh?
I think if you're gonna do it right.
Yeah. Are you gonna, just one more question. Are you guys gonna make sure this is all packed down good?
Yes,
Not
yes,
settled?
we always do.
Are they gonna pin it?
Yes, I will make sure it's pinned.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we accept the, proposal from Hensley and Sons for the amount of $6,900 for the cement work.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Con-
Motion passes.
okay, third thing is contract for the mowing from Hoppers. Don't think the numbers changed, did they, Kim?
No,
Okay.
they did not.
I don't know, what do we pay them a year?
From all that you guys decided on last year, it's $33,885.
And they did an adequate job,
Yes.
you're comfortable with what they did?
What are we gonna continue to mow ourselves?
Gonna be the gun range, the ponds, and where irrigation rate sets, that we will mow.
So doing this, we decided we're not gonna do a part-time person again this year,
Right.
which gives us more qualified people to do things that need to be done in the
Right.
town.
I'll make a motion that we accept the, renewal of offer lawn services for the mowing.
I second that.
All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, the fourth thing that's not on there is the water department is planning on replacing 8 fire hydrants and new valves. It's part of the water plant projects with the SRF monies. Hydrants are outdated and need replaced.
So this was in the original budget.
This is the money that is left from the water plant that we have to utilize because we did the state revolving fund loan. So that is, what our plan was, to replace some of those old Indiana hydrants
Yes,
that are no longer accessible to the fire department.
those don't have shut-off valves either, so that's what the valves are for also. They'll have to shut the water off, so there'll be boil orders We'll have to notify the homeowners prior to doing all this. And
Will
then
they do them all at one time?
you wanna shut the whole town off?
Well, no, that's
We've already
fine.
done that once, Terry.
That's why we're trying to minimize this to like an area. They'll still,
Okay.
they'll still
To
be
be area.
for the hydrant.
Okay.
And we'll give everybody adequate time to know
Adequate
what
time.
we're doing and what will
Exactly.
come from it.
Have a sample letter, we'll get to them for what, and that, it's got to go through the bacteria test, the 2 bacteria tests and all that, whether it's finalized.
And we're doing this work.
No,
No,
Okay.
it's gonna happen in 2 to 3 weeks. So,
Start in 2 to 3 weeks.
it's my knowledge, it's 2 to 3 weeks it will start, so
What's the total of this?
I don't know the total of this.
it's close to $80,000 is what is left in there, and so it's not gonna be not to exceed that. But Crosby Construction, who did our water plant, construction anyhow, they're overseeing all of this.
Chad, you're getting expensive.
Fire hydrants.
Your fire hydrants.
$1,000.
Your new fire hydrants that you wanted to paint.
Oh, yeah.
We have to have a motion.
Yeah, probably.
I'll make a motion that Roger goes ahead with the approval. Or how do I want to word it? For the fire hydrant replacement.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Opposed? Motion passes.
That's all I have.
Bourbon Fire Department.
You're getting
Yeah,
hydrants.
12,
You're getting hydrants.
12 calls since the last town board meeting. I do have a few things. Last Monday, I went in front of the commissioners and the 50,000 got approved. So, the electric's already been ran. Nolan's supposed to come in and do the fresh air intake within, I'd say, the next week or so, and the new system will be here in a week, so probably within 3 weeks.
Awesome. Great.
So, second thing I have, June 14th, we're gonna be doing our open house, community give back, free hot dogs. We'll have some games and stuff. I'll ask next month if we can shut this road down again like we did 2 years ago. Then people can park at the church. I'll get with Ken on that. The next thing is, our AED has reached its end of life. It's 2015, American Heart. I met with the Cintas lady last week. We can get a Zoll Plus, which is what Luther uses, for $1,700. I looked them up online. They're about a $2,600 unit. Going with Zoll, if we use our pads, we can get them replaced through Lutheran. I know PDs, AEDs are getting old as well. I would like to work with them on maybe trying to get the 4 they need and the 1 I need. I reached out to Lutheran to see if they could get us any cheaper, and Alicia said, we ain't gonna get no cheaper than $1,700.
What would be the total for what you need?
For all 5 would be $8,500.
We have some of that donation money, right?
And Kim, did give Kim Sonia's number, and she talked to her for a little bit
Yeah,
today.
I spoke to her also, and I talked to Chad about this last week. I think maybe it would be a good idea for them first to try to go through the Marshall County Community Foundation for a grant, because their budget, we did not budget for that. Yes, there was that tornado donation money. I don't know, I guess that's up to you guys, what you utilize that for. But I know that the Marshall County Community Foundation is always,
When's the
looking
next
because they've
grant?
been,
I think they just let their grants go. just issued them, I believe.
Yeah, for the winter one, it will be in the fall, it would be in the fall that, you'd have to apply again, but, yeah.
Do the AEDs we have, are they adequate to be used until the fall?
Mine is 11 years old, and it's American Heart.
How much money do we have in the donation fund?
You guys have all of that in front of you, but, $54,000.
Well, and that was another thing. Bill and I sat down Sunday and talked a little bit about maybe doing a fundraiser. But even if we did like a gun raffle at $20 a ticket, 300 tickets, I mean, that's $6,000 by the time you pay back for the guns you bought. I mean, you're looking at maybe a $4,500 profit. If you're gonna charge 20 a ticket, you gotta raffle off more than one gun.
Well, in my opinion, if we have $54,000 in a donation fund and $10,000 to get new AEDs, which could help save a life, I'd spend the $10,000.
How old is PD?
I'm gonna check real quick.
Is it,
They're already with Zoll, or they're already using the Zoll Plus, so
PD is?
yes, they switched because they could get pads through Luther. And I didn't realize how old mine was until I looked the other day.
if we go ahead with this and they apply for a grant, can that be put back in?
No, probably not.
Well,
We could, sorry.
but, I mean, at that point, we're purchasing something before,
You get
Yeah, I didn't.
that just isn't, I don't think, quite kosher with what the community foundation does. If you would take it out of the tornado money, we gotta love the state of Indiana. They have definitely just changed their ruling on how you do donations. So we're gonna have to go through an additional appropriation on that because we did not appropriate money out of that donation fund. It's not that we can't do it, and it doesn't take long, but it'll have to be done in the May meeting, sent to the DLGF. A couple days later, they're gonna say, you got the money, go ahead and spend it.
Are you gonna have to do that with the park situation?
Yes.
McBride Field situation?
Our AD is about 8 years old.
8 years.
And it could be one thing if you guys did get the okay to spend that on them, we can sit down and talk further on doing a fundraiser and paying back, with whatever we made.
Can we make the minimum bid on the car $8,500?
Yes. I tend to agree with Les. It's more important, someone's life,
Somebody's life's more
than the
important.
money sit in this account that we're not sure what's.
Again, just me, we're gonna have a fundraiser to raise funds for a fundraiser account that we already have funds in.
Well-
What's the point?
I don't disagree with you. I would vote, I'll make the motion to go that route. But I do like the idea of the fire department and the police department working together.
Well, I think
They ought to move forward with that idea.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good team building, group,
Yeah,
community.
Good community relations.
Yep.
When we decided on our open house, I extended the invitation to PD to set up a booth or a canopy and have all the officers show up that day and do a demonstration or just meet the community, or community meet all them.
You know, be the volunteer for the taser demonstration.
Sure. You guys get the dunk tank?
With the taser.
So, no, I'll make a motion to approve it, but I do think it's a good idea to see more community team building. I like the idea of both.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I think it's great that you guys are coming together and putting resources together. That's what it's all about.
Thank you. Thank you, all of you. Well, don't have the old AEDs in the open house and shocking each other.
That's all I have.
All right. Susie,
last month we discussed having a change of dates for the Plan Commission's meeting and the Board of Zoning Appeals. They have been changed, which means everything was shifted, so on my report, those 3 meetings have not happened. They don't happen for 2 more weeks. Tony and I discussed, and I said it last time, moving them two weeks apart will help to take 2 weeks off of the process for the people that need approval from town council to build or split parcels or what they would like to do. So they're on there, but they don't occur for 2 more weeks. I did have a formal public complaint. I haven't listed there. I did spend some time on the phone with Tony because the complaint is from somebody that lives within the municipality, and the complaint is against somebody that lives in the county, even though their yards butt up to each other. So I am working with trying to get ordinances printed out and things for the county, because there's been some burning and things, and I'm not familiar with their burning laws and regulations. So trying to get all my ducks in a row to give to Tony.
Well, just so we're clear, we can't actually enforce any of those
Right.
county ordinances, so all we're doing is hopefully putting it
In the right direction.
to the right folks to speak with.
I have spoke with her and let her know, so she does know I'm working with Tony, and so she is in the loop because she needs to be, so she knows that something's going on. I've also attached her complaint letter in case you want to read everything that she complained about. The other thing is, with reorganizing the dates to make things run smoother for Plan Commission approvals from Town Council, I have also Jill Montevideo, who is on the Board of Zoning and Appeals, her resignation letter is in there, along with Patty Pitch. Both feel that their personal life has taken them away from being an active member of these boards. So I have located 2 gentlemen that I've spoke with. They understand the importance of regular attendance, especially to keep the quorum going, so that people that are doing public hearings aren't let down and having to wait another month. And for the Plan Commission, it would be Mark Cottrell from the Pentecostal Church, and Tim Berger will be on the BZA, if these are okay. Appointees. I feel that they're active members in our community, and they're willing to serve the community on these boards with your approval.
I make a motion to approve those.
Second that.
all in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Town attorney?
So one of the things that Susie and I discussed in this conversation that we had recently, I would like to do an ordinance, just kind of reorganizing the Plan Commission. There's some more information I need to do with that. One of the things that came up in the previous meeting, though, is I'm going to try to reference the statute and enumerate more about what's kind of in the wheelhouse. My understanding is that I think everything from the Planning Commission is coming to you guys for approval, and I'm not sure that everything necessarily needs to be approved. So what I can do is kind of clarify what we need to come to this body for approval by state statute, what doesn't need to. You guys can tell me if you're comfortable with that or not. So I'll try to have that to you at the next meeting. Certainly something we need to kick around. It doesn't have to be approved at the next meeting. So that seems to be kind of the biggest thing coming up. So, all right.
Good.
Yep, that's all I have.
Okay. Sorry, I saw a hand go up right when I was talking to Tony. No? Okay.
Oh, wait.
All right, patrons' comments? I was gonna give whoever, there you go, go ahead.
What needs to be sold police car wise? Taurus?
It's a,
Explorer.
it's,
2021,
Miles?
134,000, I believe.
Gently used.
just like new, grandma drove it.
Grandma drove it.
Engine hours, 5,000.
Probably.
You should be able to get at least 5 out of that.
That's where we put the minimum out.
21? Yeah.
2021.
What about your Taurus? How many miles are on that?
I believe it's 23,000 now.
What year is it?
19.
It had very low miles on it.
Yeah,
Super
we had,
low.
what, 3,000 miles or something when we got it.
About 3,800 or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
It was ridiculously low. Well, that's what we put the minimum at, was 5.
Cloth in the front, leather in the back.
Cloth in the front, it's vinyl back there. Yeah.
Cover up accidents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does not have the center console with police package. So
Mhm.
it won't have that center console.
Bulletproof siding for Gary Collins. You should be able to get 5, no problem. When you guys got a new squad car, right?
Yes.
Did you include that in the trade and the build?
He handled it. He got to the point it got done before we were able to come back for vote. It was at the end of the season. So we tabled it. My thought process is we were having some problems with the other squad at that time. I thought, well, so at the end of the year, we probably ought to keep it till spring just in case. I'm sure you know we lost the motor in the other squad. Luckily, it was under warranty, so we didn't need it after all. So
What was the number that they gave you at that time? Back in
I
the
want to say
fall?
Bill said 5,600, but on trade.
Was that Oliver's?
So, are you looking for a good used squad car?
No.
I got one. I'll make you
We
a deal.
we sell them. Just trying to help out the town, so we can help out Chad and Bill.
Anybody else?
I think it's my time here.
Yeah. Name and address.
Bobby Goodman, address is 912 North Washington Street here in Bourbon. First off, thanks for the phone call, initial help, guidance, and thank you so much for helping with that. I have a group of more competitive boys for baseball here, all from Bourbon. We have 10 kids from Bourbon. We've been doing a lot of winter training and stuff like that, and we got involved with the Boys of Summer. We knew the town summer league was not doing said travel ball. It's the Boys of Summer League. So they weren't doing it, so we gathered up the kids that kind of want to be a little bit more competitive with baseball. Been working with them. I guess my mistake was the assumption, hey, as long as we didn't interfere with the town stuff, we should be good. So I had a couple of games scheduled for Saturdays. I didn't print off multiple copies, but here's a copy of the schedule for the Saturdays right there that highlighted. Those are the only home games. We have no home Wednesday games. So we wouldn't interfere with the town baseball league. So I am here. I guess, Kim, I'm going to look at you again for some guidance here, asking for approval for those games to happen there at McBride Field for the boys.
It's just those 3 games that you originally stated.
It's 4. They added one last game at towards the end of June there. And if you see Jonah there's got the schedule, Kim.
Is there any practices that are held here?
No practices.
And are you affiliated with the Bremen League?
No,
I see the picture of the Pirates, and they were all the training boys that played up here
well,
last Wednesday.
so that's where our winter training's been happening at the Bremen indoor facility. But we're still the Triton Pirates, but we just train there all winter long. He has an indoor baseball cage facility. That's where we've been training at. But we're under the Bourbon Triton Boys of Summer. It's just he is Pirates is what his name is. He hosts actual like travel baseball teams that go and do weekend tournaments and everything else like that. But we're not doing that. We're just staying involved with the Boys of Summer, which is what Triton did last year. So it's the exact same
But
league.
it has nothing to do with the Triton Summer League.
No.
It's not.
No, man.
Okay. 'cause
I verified
that's-
that.
Yeah, that. So, Tony, I sent you their certificate of liability.
And I looked at that.
How does, how
Well,
would that
do
be?
you have a policy that says if somebody is using your sports fields, that they have to have the town as an additional insured or anything like that?
Triton Summer League, they have to furnish their own insurance for their leagues that are played on our field.
Mhm. Do you have like set policy limits or anything like that?
No.
Okay. And how many games was it? Just a handful?
Just
or three or
four
Okay.
games. It looks like April 25th, May 9th, May
16?
9th.
Maybe
Yeah,
not
16.
16.
I don't have my glasses. And June 20th.
Isn't a lot of our summer league during the month? of
We don't
June?
have a summer
Or
league.
they're not anymore?
We do have a summer league.
Well,
It's
travel
all
team.
it's through the end of May all the way through June. But typically, the summer league does not play on Saturday nights.
Okay.
The only time that they would be, I suppose, in the event of a lot of rain or something like that. But usually they do not play on Saturdays. It's usually Tuesday, Thursdays, I believe.
Yes, you're correct. It's Tuesday, Thursdays. And I'm more than happy to communicate and work with, I think it's Adam Heckman still running it.
Adam is running it.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to communicate with him.
And I spoke to him about that too. His main concern was the practices, and we discussed that.
Yes.
And I had told him too that the 3 games that you had given me was a Saturday night game. So
I don't have any problem with it.
I guess my only other question is, I know I probably sound like I'm a little over the top about it, but what about equipment? You guys have your own equipment?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have your own equipment and chalk to line the fields and all of that stuff?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So none of this stuff that the Little League has purchased would be utilized with this league?
Nope, we have our own game balls, some chalk Bible, and that stuff.
And I don't know what all fields you have, but when someone wants to come in and use the fields for anything north of a pickup game, do you have them enter in any kind of like lease, or do they sign up for anything, or is it?
No, that Triton Little League has been going forever. I mean,
Right.
and ever since I've been here, there's nothing that has ever been anything that has been signed with them other than we've somewhat sponsored them to have activities for our school corporation kids, the end of May through the month of June.
Did you check the June 20th? Are we good there? There's not going to be a.
There's not, as of right now, there's nothing. Unless, like Kim said, they get rained out for a week or two or something.
It would be some freaky thing,
Yeah.
probably, that it would be on a Saturday because they just don't.
I think it's a good thing, Bobby. I think it's a good thing. It's, most of the kids are probably from Triton, so.
They're all
Yeah,
Bourbon
so
kids.
I don't,
We need a motion on this. I'll make a motion to allow them to use
I was gonna say, do
it.
you have questions?
Well,
Okay, I
let me
back
just
up.
tell you what I'm thinking. I'm not saying that you can't do it. It's just a question of one, whether you want to make something more formal. You could have just kind of the standard form. Hey, what's your event? And these are the rules. You're going to indemnify us. You're going to be responsible for, you like to bring all your own equipment. It's got to all be cleared off of there, kind of start up, set up, tear down kind of requirements, things like that. You may want to make it a little more formal. My other point though would be, I think this probably needs to run through your park authority and not necessarily through the town council.
We don't have.
We are the landlord.
Well, I understand that, but you know how the state is, you publish a notice and you're the park authority, you're meeting as the park authority. Right now, you're meeting as the town council. I understand it's exactly the same people, but technically it's a different body. Don't get me wrong, all roads lead to Rome, right? So at this point, ultimately, this body is the one to do it, but I'm just saying you may want to consider changing kind of the procedure of everything. There's some reasons to do that I'm not going to get into now, but just a thought. So, but just something formal. Because the other thing is, if you have competition for dates and things like that, you have to have a process for sorting through how that gets done. So, yeah, but They've got an insurance policy, it covers them, seems to be adequate numbers. I'm not, super great at insurance. It's not my profession, but it seems to be adequate. If the space is available, I don't see why you can't allow it to be used.
Okay, Bobby, if we have something more formal, like is being suggested, and we pass this tonight, are you all right coming in and signing that?
Oh, of course, that's not a problem at all.
I will continue with my motion and to accept and allow Bobby to use those fields.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you
Yeah, thank you guys, thank you.
for keeping the kids involved.
Yeah, I really would like, and I'm gonna throw this out there, this formal stuff is all pretty new to me, I'm pretty rough around the edges, but if anything happens like park wise and baseball wise, I would love to be involved and help get people involved and kind of keep baseball rolling around, cause like Kim said, it's end of May, June, and then our diamonds are dead.
Right.
So how awesome would that be to use them from April till October? We got beautiful new LED lights out there that are awesome. Roger, town guy's been working hard out there. I try to help when I can, volunteer time, raking bases, things like that. But if we can get more involvement going, I just look long term. I have a boy that's a sophomore in high school, and doing like everybody does as an adult, you kind of look back and okay, I wish I would have implemented this and this and this. Well, now I have a 9-year-old up and coming, so it's like, all right, I don't want to say mistakes I made, but it's like, all right, I can kind of guide you a different path. It's a little bit smoother, kind of more fun, and keep things like rolling. So, instead of having the baseball field getting used 6 weeks out of the year, I'm up for helping to use that thing for 20 weeks out of the year, 25 weeks out of the year.
We have great facilities, and that would be very nice.
I can't tell you how many people, when we come, oh, you guys got lights. We sure do. Don Bell's been doing amazing at the field and yard and grass and upkeep and everything. I mean, we got, luckily, Joan and Kim helped, and we had a scrimmage the other night. We got complimented on our field, complimented on our town. Business side of things, we probably brought, it was a doubleheader. We brought 150, 200 people to Bourbon. I mean, I know it's not huge, but I can't tell you how many Subway sandwiches I've seen show up down there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's essentially helping everybody.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
I'm in for, hey, let's keep it rolling. Let's keep the boys involved, and ultimately, look up when they get into high school, and hey, we were kind of part of that development, and keep it rolling.
Go forth.
That's all about the junior high program now, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So let's keep it going.
Yes, I
Thank
agree.
you, Bobby.
I'm more than happy to help. So if anything part coming around, sorry, I don't know your name, but the town attorney here, that comes apart. Please, if you guys need help, let me know.
Yeah, we probably ought to just do something formal under it. I would say, that way we got something in writing, because it doesn't sound like it's stopping. He's gonna keep it moving forward, so.
That's awesome.
Any other patron comments? Council comments?
I have none.
Did you have anything, Tony? He skipped right over you.
No, I didn't.
No.
Oh, didn't you?
I did have something, but
No, I didn't.
you covered, I talked about the plan commission stuff,
Oh, sorry.
so it's the tail end of Susie's. So, I did have a question. I don't know what you guys have done, but you had a basketball team, I think since our last meeting, that was at semi-state. And
State
made it to the
finals.
state finals, yeah, semi-state champs, made it state finals. Would you like to do a resolution, honoring them? I usually do those.
That'd be awesome.
We
I
have
wouldn't
not
charge it for you,
done
but that, if we wanna set that for the next meeting, it gives us a chance to try to invite the team in.
Sure.
So, okay.
Yes, thank you. Good.
Yep, I have.
Kim?
Fine.
John,
I have nothing.
I'll make a motion